So here we have electron and box diagrams. We see the nucleus at the bottom of the screen. Then we have the 1s orbital. Then further out from the nucleus we have the 2s orbital. Then further out from the nucleus still we have the 2p subshell made up of the 2px, 2py and 2pz orbitals. Then we have further away from the nucleus still the 3s orbital. Then further away still we have the 3p subshell made up of the 3px, 3py and 3pz orbitals. So to fill up the energy levels, the electrons enter the lowest energy orbital available, which is closest to the nucleus. Orbitals of the same energy are occupied singly before pairing occurs. No orbital can accommodate more than 2 electrons. So we're going to fill up these orbitals in this atom. But before we do, just look at the top of the screen and you can see that it goes 3p, then we're going to fill the 4s, and only then do we start to fill the 3d. So the 4s is lower in energy than the 3d when there are no electrons in it. When we put electrons into the 4s and then start to put electrons into the 3d, we find that the 4s will be then higher in energy than the 3d. And we'll look at that a little bit later. So, we're going to put electron in to the 1s singly, then pair. Then to the 2s, single, pair. Then to the 2p. Now we fill these orbitals singly first of all, and then we pair them up. 3s, then single, 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 pair, 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 single. Then the 3d gets filled singly, and then it pairs up. So that's the filling up order. So the 4s fills before the 3d. Now ground state electronic configuration is giving the position of the electrons in an atom filling the lowest energy levels first. What does excited state electronic configuration mean? That the electrons have absorbed energy and have not filled the lowest energy levels first. So what I'm going to do now is move one of the electrons from the 3s up to the 3p, and we see now that this is no longer the ground state electronic configuration because the 2p has an empty space and the 3s has an empty space as well, and the electrons are up into the 3p. So this is not ground state, this is the excited state electronic configuration. So for aluminium, it's going to be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p1. You could also say 3px1. Now for nickel, which has 28 electrons, remember the 4s fills before the 3d because the 4s is lower in energy than the 3d when they are empty. So, 2 electrons in the 1s, 2 electrons in the 2s, single, 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 pair, pair, pair. 2 electrons in the 3s, single, 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 pair, pair, pair. 2 electrons in the 4s. Now we have 8 more electrons to go. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that is the filling up configuration. It's the order in which we put electrons into these orbitals. But it's not the electronic configuration. So that's just the filling up configuration there. The ground state electronic configuration is where we swap around the 4s and the 3d. So we put the 3s2, 3p6, 3d8 together and then the 4s2. And that's because once electrons go into the 4s and the 3d, then the 4s becomes higher in energy than the 3d. So that whenever we take the first electron away, we're going to ionize this. The first electron will not be ionized from the 3d, it's actually ionized from the 4s. And that's because whenever you put electrons into the 4s and the 3d, the 4s is now higher in energy than the 3d. For aluminium, it's going to be 3px. Now the fourth electron is going to be removed from the 2p. The ground state electronic configuration of chlorine is going to be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. For oxygen, it's going to be 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. For iron, let's do the filling up configuration. Now remember, the 4s fills before the 3d, because when there's no electrons in the 4s and the 3d, the 4s is lower in energy than the 3d. But whenever you put electrons into the 4s and the 3d, then the 4s becomes higher in energy than the 3d. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, d1, d2, d3, d4, d5 and d6. So remember, that's the filling up configuration. Then to make it into electronic configuration, you swap around the 4s2 and the 3d6. Because remember, the 4s2 is now higher in energy than the 3d. And whenever these atoms are ionized, the electrons will first be removed from the 4s, not the 3d.